Misfortune is an obscure game for the original Game Boy. Since no known hard copies or ROMs exist, all information about the game is derived from personal accounts and scant assemblage of screenshots. The game does not contain any credits, and whoever created it is still unknown to this day. The few people who have experienced it consider it to be one of the scariest video games ever made. Given its age and cult following among rare horror game enthusiasts, it is entirely possible that authors of widely known creepypastas such as Sonic.exe and Lavender Town Syndrome drew inspiration from Misfortune. The player controls what appears to be a young boy in a strange gothic building. After brief exploring, the player is confronted by a malevolent being. Despite the character never identifying itself, some people citing notable similarities claim that it may be a representation of the devil. Upon meeting the mysterious creature, a dialogue box will appear with the text, "I exist within the very fabric of reality. Do you want to challenge me?" This is followed by a yes or no choice. Should a player choose yes, the being replies, "Then let's begin." The player is then transported to a series of maze-like rooms, each filled with pit drops, locked doors, keys and traps. The objective for the player is to progress through each room by either reaching the stairs to the next level or solving another kind of puzzle. This can include answering riddles or choosing correct doors or pathways. The most well-known example is a level where 4 small cabins are shown on screen. A dialogue box will then appear that reads, "Choose wrong, and misfortune will befall your loved ones." Are you ready to play? Should the player ever make a mistake throughout the game, the screen will cut to black before showing a more detailed image of the demon, along with a dialogue box reading, "I am God here," in what appears to be blood-styled writing. Rumours pertaining to the game's alleged harmful effects began to surface on the internet around the late 90s. Players claimed to have begun experiencing ongoing depression and dread shortly after losing and seeing the game over screen. Once prominent members of the online forums who told such claims are thought to have died or disappeared when they suddenly became inactive without warning. Heated discussions soon dominated these forums for some time, but the mystery never seemed to be getting any closer to being solved. Some wrote the whole thing off as a tasteless practical joke. Others believed that viewing the image of the evil character after losing the game can really cause the player to experience misfortune as the game's antagonist promised. Soon, people began to speculate that the eerie soundtrack of the game was the cause. The music in the game consisted of a deep, buzzy tone and off-key melodies. The game had a remarkably unsettling soundtrack, despite composition being limited to the 8-bit Game Boy sound bank. The game over screen had especially erratic, almost nauseating music with a very high frequency that accompanied it. Rumour has it that this very track could somehow influence moods and thought patterns. Of all the tracks in the game, only the theme that plays when first meeting the demonic entity can be found on the internet today. Searching for playable ROMs or cartridges online is futile because none exist. In fact, most of those who had played it directly hadn't sought out looking for it, but rather stumbled upon it by accident. According to first-hand accounts, certain copies of various Game Boy titles contain Misfortune in its entirety. The means for accessing it through these games vary, but typically involved exploiting glitches or using cheat devices. Although some had detailed what they had done to trigger Misfortune to start, attempts by others using the same methods had always failed. Another common observation was that many of the sprites in Misfortune had been copied from its host games. Misfortune is known to be integrated in the following: Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, Pokemon Red, Spud's Adventure, Pudgy Carrot, and Atelier Marie. If you are a collector, or perhaps just heard the legend and want to experience the game for yourself, you should reconsider. Even if you deny the existence of demons and curses, the misfortune that will befall you is very real, and you have been warned.